This video is brought to you by Devout Decals, makers of reusable Catholic art for your home altar, your bedroom, and your home classroom. Today I have for you something, a little different than my usual Saturday sort of educational material. This is the latest installation of my going through a classic pre-conciliar work called The Reign of AntiChrist by Father R. Gerald Culleton. He wrote several books on the man of sin. Here he talks about the Old Testament. In this episode, I'm focusing on what he said on the book of Daniel, because the book of Daniel is rather well known for having a lot on the man of sin. Here he sifts everything else out and just gives what the prophet Daniel had to say on the Antichrist. Curious what you're going to think about this, so let me know in the comments as we go through this. The Antichrist according to the Old Testament, Part 2. Neither the prophet Daniel nor any other pre-Christian author has used the word Antichrist. In fact, that word is used in but one context of the New Testament. It does not appear at all in the Apocalypse. Despite this, it is universally agreed that in the book of Daniel we find the earliest uncontested reference to the personages now known as Antichrist. It is further agreed that the Apocalypse developed ideas that were first given to the world by the prophet Daniel. Behold a great statue, and the look thereof was terrible. The head was gold, and the breast silver, the belly and thighs brass, the legs iron, and the feet part iron and part clay. A stone cut out of a mountain with hands struck the statue in the feet and broke them. Then the iron, clay, brass, silver, and gold was broken and became like chaff, and were carried away by the wind. But the stone became a mountain, which filled the whole earth. This is the interpretation. Thou, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, art the head, and after thee shall rise up another kingdom. And a third kingdom shall rule the world. And the fourth kingdom shall be as iron, and shall break and destroy all these, being the Roman Empire. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But yet it shall take its origin from the iron, according as thou savest the iron mixed with the miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall be mingled indeed together with the seed of man, but they shall not stick fast one to another, as iron cannot be mixed with clay. But in the days of those kingdoms the God of heaven will set up a kingdom, the Church of Christ, that shall never be destroyed, and his kingdom shall not be delivered up to another people, and it shall break in pieces, and shall consume all these kingdoms, and itself shall stand forever. According as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and broke in pieces the clay, and the iron, and the brass, and the silver, and the gold, the great God hath shown the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is true, and the interpretation thereof is faithful. 4 great beasts came up out of the sea. The first was like a lioness and had wings, the Chaldean Empire. Another beast like a bear, the Persian Empire. Another like a leopard, the Grecian Empire. A fourth beast terrible in wonder. It had iron teeth, the Roman Empire. It had 10 horns. I considered the horns and beheld another little horn, sprung out of the midst of them, and 3 of the first horns were plucked up at the presence thereof. And behold, eyes like the eyes of a man were in this horn, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld because of the voice of the great words which that horn spoke, and I saw that the beast was slain, and the body thereof was destroyed, and given to the fire to be burnt, and that the power of the other beasts was taken away, and that times of life were appointed them for a time and a time. I beheld therefore in the vision of the night, and lo, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heavens, and he came even to the Ancient of Days, and they presented him before him. And he gave him power and glory and a kingdom, and all peoples, tribes, and tongues shall serve him. His power is an everlasting power that shall not be taken away, and his kingdom that shall not be destroyed. My spirit trembled. I, Daniel, was affrighted at these things, and the visions of my head troubled me. I went near to one of them that stood by, and asked the truth of him concerning all these things. And he told me the interpretation of the words, and instructed me. These 4 great beasts are 4 kingdoms, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High God shall take the kingdom, and they shall possess the kingdom forever and ever. After this I would diligently learn concerning the 4th beast, which was very different from all, and exceedingly terrible. His teeth and claws were of iron. He devoured and broke in pieces, and the rest he stamped upon with his feet. and concerning the 10 horns that he had on his head, and concerning the other that came up, before which 3 horns fell, and of that horn that had eyes and a mouth speaking great things, and was greater than the rest. I beheld, and lo, that horn made war against the saints, and prevailed over them, till the Ancient of Days came and gave judgment to the saints of the Most High, and the time came, and the saints obtained the kingdom. And thus he said, The 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be greater than all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And then the 10 horns of the same kingdom shall be 10 kings, and another shall rise up after them, and he shall be mightier than the former, and he shall bring down 3 kings. And he shall speak words against the High One, and shall crush the saints of the Most High, and he shall think himself able to change times and laws, and they shall be delivered into his hand until a time and times and half a time. And judgment shall sit, that his power may be taken away, and be broken in pieces, and perish even to the end, and that the kingdom and power and greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven may be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all kings shall serve him and shall obey him. Hitherto is the end of the word. I, Daniel, was much troubled with my thoughts, and my countenance was changed in me, but I kept the word in my heart. See Daniel chapter 7, verses 3 to 28. Continuing with Daniel. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, and it became great against the south, and against the east, and against the strength. And it was magnified even unto the strength of heaven. And it threw down of the strength and of the stars, and trod upon them. And it was magnified even to the prince of the strength. And it took away from him the continual sacrifice, and cast down the place of his sanctuary. And strength was given him against the continual sacrifice, and he shall do, and shall prosper. And I heard one of the saints speaking, and one saint said to another, I know not to whom that was speaking, How long shall be the vision concerning the continual sacrifice, and the sin of desolation that is made? And he said to him, Unto everything in mourning 2,300 days, and the sanctuary shall be cleansed. And he said to me, I will show thee what things are to come to pass in the end of the malediction, for the time hath its end. When iniquity shall be grown up, there shall arise a king of a shameless face, and understanding dark sentences, and his power shall be strengthened, but not by his own force. He shall lay all things waste, and shall prosper, and do more than can be believed, and he shall destroy the mighty and the people of the saints. According to his will and craft shall be successful in his hand, and his heart shall be puffed up. And in the abundance of things he shall kill many. And he shall rise up against the prince of princes, and shall be broken without hand. And the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told, is true. Thou therefore seal up the vision, because it shall come to pass after many days. See Daniel chapter 8, verses 9 to 26. Continue with Daniel. 70 weeks are shortened upon thy people and upon the holy city, that transgression may be finished, and sin may have an end, and iniquity may be abolished, and everlasting justice may be brought, and vision and prophecy may be fulfilled, and the saint of saints may be anointed. Know thou therefore, and take notice, that from the going forth of the word to build up Jerusalem again, unto Christ the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. And the street shall be built again, and the walls in straightness of times. And 62 weeks Christ shall be slain, and the people that shall deny him shall not be his. And the people with their leader that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. And the end thereof shall be waste, and after the end of the war the appointed desolation. And he shall confirm the covenant with many in 1 week. And in the half of the week the victim and the sacrifice shall fail. And there shall be in the temple the abomination of desolation, and the desolation shall continue even to the consummation and to the end. See Daniel chapter 9, verse 24 to 27. And there shall be stand up in his place one despised, and the king honor shall not be given him, and he shall come privately, and shall obtain the kingdom by fraud. The king shall do according to his will, and he shall be lifted up, and shall magnify himself against every god. And he shall speak great things against the God of gods, and shall prosper, till the wrath be accomplished. For the determination is made. And he shall make no account of the God of his fathers. And he shall follow the lust of women, and he shall not regard any gods, for he shall rise up against all things. But he shall worship the god Maozim in his place, and the God whom his fathers knew not. He shall worship with gold and silver and precious stones and things of great price. And he shall do this to fortify Maozim with a strange god, whom he hath acknowledged. And he shall increase glory, and shall give them power over many. It shall divide the land gratis. And at the time prefixed, the king of the south shall fight against him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a tempest, with chariots and with horsemen, and with a great navy. And he shall enter into the countries, and shall destroy and pass through. And he shall enter into the glorious land, and many shall fall. And these only shall be saved out of his hand, Edom and Moab, and the principality of the children of Ammon. And he shall lay upon his hand upon lands, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. And he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and the precious things of Egypt. And he shall pass through Libya and Ethiopia. And tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. And he shall come with a great multitude to destroy and slay many. And he shall fix his tabernacle in Apadno, between the seas upon a glorious and holy mountain. And he shall come even to the top thereof, and none shall help him. See Daniel chapter 11, verses 21, 36 to 45. But at a time shall Michael rise up, the great prince, who standeth for the children of thy people. And at a time shall come as never was from the time that nations began even until that time. And at that time shall thy people be saved, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of those that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some unto life everlasting, and others unto reproach, to see it always. But they that are learned shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that instruct many to justice as stars of all eternity. But thou, Daniel, shut up thy words and seal the book, even to the time anointed. Many shall pass over, and knowledge shall be manifold. And I, Daniel, looked, and behold, as it were, two others stood, one on this side upon the bank of the river, and another on that side, on the other bank of the river. And I said to the man that was clothed in linen, that stood upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man that was clothed in linen, that stood upon the waters of the river, when he had lifted up his right hand and his left hand to heaven, and had sworn by him that liveth forever, that it should be unto a time, and times, and half a time. And when the scattering of the band of the holy people shall be accomplished, all these things shall be finished. And I heard and understood not. And as I said, O my Lord, what shall be after these things? And he said, Go, Daniel, because the words are shut up, and sealed until the appointed time. Many shall be chosen and made white, and shall be tried as fire, and the wicked shall deal wickedly. And none of the wicked shall understand, but the learned shall understand. And from the time when the continual sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination unto desolation shall be set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and come unto 1,335 days. But go thou thy ways until the time appointed, and thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot until the end of days. See the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verses 1 to 13. And Father Culleton continues beyond there with going into other places in the Old Testament where the Antichrist is hinted at. And I will give that in another episode in the next month or so as we continue to look at this forgotten treasure and this forgotten great mind of the pre-modernist church, Father R. Gerald Culleton. His wisdom on the Old Testament and on the Antichrist is profound, and he actually has written several books on this sort of thing, including he wrote a companion novel that the host of Spiritual Strength, the YouTube channel, pointed out to me on the War of Antichrist with Civilization, and I will present that to you after I finally get done with the book on the reign of Antichrist. But I'm curious what you thought about this. So, does his, sifting through the book of Daniel help, where he just presents the prophecy of the Antichrist from the various parts of Daniel? Does that help to make sort of the role of the prophet Daniel clearer in understanding the man of sin? Let me know what you thought of this in the comments, please. Like and subscribe if you haven't. It really does help. As does sharing this on social media. That always helps as well. As always, pray for the church. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.